Well, congratulations is turning to questions for the New Zealand Prime Minister after confirming no new coronavirus cases for 18 days. Kiwis are keen to find out when a travel bubble with Australia will open.
But bursting some bubbles, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has signalled those arrangements could still be some time away. Deputy PM Winston Peters, a can-do man, joins us now. Kia ora to you, Winston. Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Kia ora and good morning.
We've been talking about this, it seems, now for some time, doesn't it? How advanced are the conversations with the Australian government?
2 days before we went into the lockdown in the first place, that's 25 of March, 25th of March, we began a conversation with DFAT, or Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade Australia, on this question of the lockdown ending and the Pacific bubble or the Australasian bubble. So before we went into the lockdown, we were talking about getting out of it and having a bubble of success between both of our countries. But we've run into the roadblock of federalism, so to speak. As you know, in your country, the Canberra government decides who can arrive. But once you arrive in Australia, interstate, it's a matter for the state-by-state governments. And we've got some states prepared to go tomorrow, like Tasmania, and some who are reluctant to go. So we're not making this by way of any allegation other than to say we have to go at Australia's speed.
So how does that look then in your mind? Does that mean rather than opening up travel to all of Australia, you're looking at specific states?
Well, I was talking to Premier Langdon from Tasmania, and it's very clear that Tasmania is set to go, and we should start. Frankly, we should not have states being held back by the slowest mover, so to speak. So let's get going, and let's have a precedent here. And I'm certain that when we've got all the protocols sorted out, which can be done very, very quickly, because so much work has been done, we could be off. But let's not restrain the movement between our two countries based on the slowest state in Australia.
This is really interesting stuff. So you're ready and raring to go. I take it we need some sort of federal government approval for people to land, but then that's the states are ready to go. So you just need the DFAT to tick it off. Or what needs to happen in order for that state into New Zealand travel to start? Well,
once the balloon goes up, so to speak, then the airline companies can start organising things, and our job is to ensure that we've got satisfactory protocols for the Australians to have every confidence in what happens in New Zealand, and vice versa, that we've got every confidence as to what happens in Australia. But the performance, for example, of Queensland, Northern Territories, and dare I say it, Tasmania, has been superior to New Zealand's in many ways. Even though we've done surprisingly good, I think we can have real confidence going forward. But you've got to start somewhere, and basically we're asking for the handbrake to come off, but it has to be organised out of Australia.
OK, I know with interest yesterday morning your Prime Minister was on the radio saying it's more than likely that she'll open up travel between New Zealand and Australia than some Pacific Islanders, maybe even including Fiji. How long away do you think realistically it is, Winston?
Again, it's fascinating you should ask a politician that question, because it could be. I've said this should have happened yesterday. I said we should have got out of lockdown too a long time ago, and we should have got out of this yesterday as well. But the point is, when you talked about the Pacific, you've got aviation security, you've got maritime port security, and you've also got to look at hospital and health capacity should there be an outbreak. So there's a lot of things to get ready, not just the talk, so to speak. And what we have said is we know that we've got that in Australia right here, right now in many states, if not all of Australia, frankly, although Victoria's a bit of a worry slightly at the moment. But we know that we've got that in Australia. In terms of the Pacific, it's all very well for people to say, well, you should be doing this, this and this. And we're saying, yes, but we want aviation, maritime security to be rock solid. We cannot afford, having defeated this COVID-19, to have it introduced because we've been careless at our border.
Winston, you went early, you went hard, closing everything down. Do you think now, looking at the fact that you guys have no active cases, we in Australia still have more than 400, that it was the right call?
Well, if you ask a politician whether they made the right call, guess what sort of answer you're going to get. But the point is, this is going to be there'll be a post-mortem about this. There'll be a future judgment as to whether we went too far, whether we went further than Australia, and whether Australia, for example, because they didn't go quite as far as us, kept more business going and kept more people in work. All these things are for a later study, a later post-mortem, so to speak. Sorry to use the pun when COVID-19 is here. But we need to be open and honest with people, because out of this is the lessons for the next disaster we might face, which is one of these days going to be inevitable. And I hope we learn from that.
It is always good talking to you. I sense that we're getting much, much closer to sitting down and having some Australian lamb and some Australian Shiraz, and I hope it happens very soon. It'd be great to talk to you in person about all this, and good luck in trying to open those borders up.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank